Cool, I think we're good. Welcome, welcome. I think... Yep. I think we're just waiting for a couple people to start kind of getting it here, so we can kind of talk about what's going to happen this stream. Hopefully we get viewers so we can actually talk about stuff. Yeah, we're oh, our number just jumped up. Yeah, I think once we get some chatters in here, we'll start talking about stuff more. Welcome everybody into the chat. This is, I think, the first like real dev update in a while. So yeah, we've been hard at work behind the scenes, but oh, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. If you guys don't know the person that just chatted in chat, they made a app called Hex Friends. It's a hex map maker. You should go check it out. I'll link it out real quick. I highly suggest it. It's a tool we've been using during the testing of alpha. Not sure. Yeah, I don't know how you say their name, honestly. I think that's it. Could also be 80 mouse. Right. Let's. Oh. I'm just using this to test delay real quick. Seems to be a few seconds up. About 15 seconds up. Yeah. No problem. I mean, yeah, it's been an incredibly helpful tool for us to, you know, use as we've developed. So might as well give it a little shout out. But yeah, so today we're going to be creating an alpha character along with chat. So chat, you're going to design the character. This will be something we use during our testing and stuff, but we would just kind of wanted to, I thought it'd be fun to do a stream with character making. Is our category right? I think so, right? Yeah, that should be correct. That should be correct. We could do tabletop RPGs. Let me reset this. Let's change category real quick. Cool. We'll also go to the tabletop RPG category. But yeah, let's start on character creation here. I think we could use something like direct poll to make a yeah. All right. So let's start with the stats of the character. Uh, so, well, name. Name's at the top. What do we call this? Chat, what do we call this? What are we calling this monstrosity or whatever you're making here? Hopefully it's good, but you could also just make it bad. For the funny, right? Hub the Human. Well, we got our first name. I'll throw it in the poll. Yeah. Yeah, but it's funny. By the way, if anyone's around, how's volume looking for the music and stuff? Is the music too loud? Good? Also, welcome, first time chatter. I'm not even gonna no dysenic. No dice Nick. Oh, that makes more sense. I see. That makes more sense. What's... Oh, welcome in. Nick. We'll go with Nick. Anyway, Hum the Human. Any other names? Otherwise, it's just gonna be Hum. Hum is the, Give me like an extra 1 more minute before I do that. We're gonna be creating a level 6 character here, which means there'll be tier 2 with a tier dice of 1d6. We sort of condensed the game a bit, so compared to like the previous version in pre-alpha, where you'd have a tier up every 5th level, it's now after every 3rd. So like at level 4 you get to tier 2 instead of level 6. So the change was because in a lot of cases players felt around like the end of their build, so to speak, at level 15, where levels after that had a lot less impact, and players got to like it was almost logarithmic. So we kind of cut it off at the end of the curve there to make player power level feel more exponential than just this cap past like halfway into the game. Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I guess let's go through stats while we wait for a couple more names to come in because we still only have the one. We changed the system over in stats-wise from a sort of point-buy system to a hybrid of that and an array-style system. So, if you're going for... So today we're going to be making a Ranger class character, which is the replacement class name for the Assassin, since we made them more focused on ranged attacks to better differentiate them from what was the Marshal and is now the Warrior. So you have like 4 agility here is what you're gonna want for that. And so you have the numbers you get are 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 0. And so that kind of lets you always have a couple high numbers, but also requires you have a couple of these like really low numbers that you have to kind of play around. And then you can decrease a higher number to add it to a lower number. So like you could take one out of your 4s to bring a 0 up to a 1. And you can do that twice. So you can alleviate some of your downsides by kind of dropping your upsides, centralizing your stat a bit. This we probably don't want above like a 2 in fight. 3 in awareness would make sense here. Do we want to make like a... What do we... Are we thinking like a really strong ranger, or are we thinking like a really lucky guy? Chat, what are we thinking? Yeah. So luck got added to a new mechanic called luck points. Luck points are a resource you can use and to give favored or an extra d6 to your other checks. So basically, while Fortune doesn't have a lot of checks on its own, you can use it as a resource to apply to other checks. Yeah, we'll go for Fortune. Cool. And then out of Psyche, Charm, and Strength, we're definitely gonna need 1 Strength. Even though 0 Strength builds are more possible than they were in pre-alpha, we've taken steps to make them viable. We haven't made it like a good thing to have 0 Strength, so you typically want at least 1. Which means that he's not very smart or charming. Pretty much. Do we want to mix around stats here, are we thinking? We could take some out of our Fortune or Awareness to increase our Psyche or Charm, or we could just leave it as is. What are we thinking? Yeah. So awareness here is used for the new perception mechanic, which is the basically inverse to stealth. It's used to see as a sort of GM side stat as the MT or like minimum you have to roll to actually stay in stealth or not be noticed. And the GM can decide to use either someone's perception or stealth in order to keep any information hidden. And then Psyche is used in the new event phase to give you more time out of event days. And event time is like downtime, what other games will call like downtime. So like you get more time in your day by having better organizational skills. So that's what Psyche's most used for. Oh, shoot, I don't think they could have heard you this stream. That's that's a problem. I don't think they could have heard you. Oops. Somehow your track got muted after I changed.
Whoops.
Yeah, whoops. Professional stream here.
Alright. Let's see.
Yeah, they should be able to hear you now.
Oh, yep, they can hear me. I've got this. I pulled up the stream and yeah, I can hear myself. Cool.
Cool.
There we go.
But yeah, that's what those two are for. Other than that, you have like the vitality, which is just extra health, and awareness, which is and agility, which is a lot of your like stealth stuff. I could see that, yeah. Why not?
Yep.
Cool. And I think that's where we'll stop stats then. Unless someone else in chat wants to do one more change here, I'll give it 20 seconds for someone else to say hi or something if they want to do any changes. Otherwise, I think we just have a few lurkers today.
Yeah.
Give me 1 moment. Yeah. Cool. Then I guess we'll move on. Since we'll have all 6 levels in the Ranger class. Well, actually, let's do Vices and Virtues. It's not on stream. Let's finally get to that. So, Vices and Virtues are a new system with the game. Let me get onto the stream's book here. So, there we go. Vices and Virtues are a new system that determines damage interactions the user has by their personality traits. So, if you're greedy, you will be weak to arcane damage. Or if you're like hostile, you're generally hostile, you're weak to fire. And so a cool part of the system is it's just a character trait they have. It's not their primary character trait. So it's kind of like a really extensive system the more you look at it. And it's really good for guides for new players that we found. So new players have a better grasp on how to run their character's personality.
Yep. Think of it like the classic D&D alignment chart, except it actually has mechanical use beyond just like paladin not being allowed to be only being allowed to be lawful good. Like it.
Yeah. Let's see. You on the bottom.
And of course, it's nice because it gives the min-maxers another tool they can use to try and come up with some crazy builds, which is always fun.
We're just gonna close in a couple things here. That's better. I need to be able to monitor this stream and... Oh, there we go. Cool. Well, what is chat thinking? what damage types? I think they does the streams can the stream read the book fine? It's a bit small on my side monitor, so. If nobody in chat has any ideas, we can also just determine it randomly with the table here. All right, let's roll it.
Let's roll.
All right. D8 plus 1d6.
One thing I kind of noticed though is that this strat of rolling two dice to determine it does kind of center weight the odds a bit.
It does, and that's actually intentional. So rolling is mostly used for new players, and we don't want them to have like those like really harsh ones. Like the physical damage types are going to come up a lot, especially early on. So we use that center weighting in order to make the chances that you get stuff like those slashing, vital, bludgeoning, piercing very rare. Less than 5%.
Right. Yeah.
So like for this time we got shock for our virtue. It's on top here. It's probably the other way around. So I'm gonna select shock. And then we got a 2. So we are weak to piercing damage. As I just said that.
Oh my! Of course, but of course,
it's funniest. When luck is whatever is funniest.
Yeah.
Back to this, so we can quickly calculate out these secondary stats.
So what that means that with those vice and virtue selections, that means this person is going to be in general, they're going to act deliberate, but they're going to be deliberate but obsessive. Is sort of the.
And so like from that you might be able to get a character that's kind of like hyper fixates on things being like almost perfectionisty. You could get, or you is one way you could take that, or you could get something that's like overthinking out, like a basically prepared for everything, but to like a almost worrying degree is a way you could take that.
Right, there are, and of course there are other ways of interpreting them. We provide other ways of interpreting them. So like not just obsessive, not just in terms of perfectionist, but also like some nosy, right, or petty. So they could so like
the obsessive person, or and then a lot of these also have some overlap too, to allow for better character. Like depth, you have like a lot of overlap here. Like you could be obsessed with with money, which kind of leads into that greedy territory, but you could take it either way.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's about time. So I'm just gonna fish up some of these stats here. 6 times 2. Ranger is health 10. So that should be 60 plus fight times 6, 12. So 72. So yeah, a change from the pre-alpha is a simplicity to health and a buff to the vitality stat. You get an amount of bite health equal to your bite times your level, not your bite times your tier, like was the case in pre-alpha. So your health is going to be a lot higher in this version, since people are dying really quickly in pre-alpha, and we have other things that we've done to even mitigate it further than that.
Oh yeah, don't you add the plus 10 to that as well?
Correct, right, yes, right. Thank you for calling me out on that.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
so...
Yeah, another thing is we made it where where at level 1 you get where all characters get a bonus 10 health too. So even a mage who has even a level 1 mage has at least some health to work with, so they're not instantly dying the first time they ever enter combat.
Yeah, especially because we decreased the range of levels. Having a level or two where players were just not really viable because they were too weak always feels weird. It always felt weird, but like it was especially bad once we decreased the level all the way down to 15 from 30. So we made sure that all levels were a valid level of play for people and all felt good. Cool. I think we're good to move on to chapter 3.
So now we get to pick the lineage.
Yep.
So we have.
I'm just checking up on
for this. For this stream, we have 4 options available for lineages. We have Draconis, Nikara, Rataskir, and Volpit are 4 options for this character. And
2 of those are unique to Alpha, actually, and one of which you may have heard back in pre-Alpha, back when the original Manticore existed.
Yep. So, Draconis is pulled over directly from pre-Alpha. Nikara got teased in pre-Alpha with a reference to it in the Manticore lineage. Rataskir is also from pre-Alpha.
Yeah.
And then Volpit is entirely new.
Yep. Though Draconis did get a change up to how it works a bit, so did Rataskir. So we'll go through their abilities real quick and then let chat choose what they want from these abilities. And if chat decides not, we can always roll for it.
Yeah.
So first off, you have Draconis, which obviously being dragon-like, they have their Draconic Breath, their iconic Draconic Breath, but this was turned from where it was into a ranged attack that uses your vitality. I think it's pretty similar to pre-alpha overall, except it doesn't get the typical disadvantage you get for being a ranged attacker, where you get that unfavored in melee range. Now it's just like a straight you can do it anywhere kind of deal. Though you can no longer do spectral damage types with them like you used to. So yeah, that was a small nerf.
No longer heal. You can no longer have a healing breath Draco Blast.
Sadly, I've been thinking of actually bringing healing back into it, but it added a lot of extra text into it that I'm not sure, because nobody really played healing.
I'm thinking though, with the changes to Acolyte that we've made, I don't think we necessarily need that. The previous limits on it.
That is true. It is a key action, so we'll look into that. Anyway, so you have that, and then you have Winged, which gives it straight flying. Before it had that like Kobold summon that got kind of put by the wayside for it. So we have now it's just straight gets flying. Though we put a lot of efforts in place to make sure flying is balanced in this game in ways it typically isn't in others. So GMs watching, you do not have to worry. Our flying will not break every encounter. Then you have Nikara, which gets their lunge ability, which means they can basically do a lunge as a part of melee attacks they do. So they can dodge roll, which is our new variant of what used to be disengage. So you roll 2 meters, and during that time you can't take opportunity attacks, but you can still otherwise take them. So you have to play a lot more strategically around ranges now in ways that you didn't before. And then you have soft-footed. This just gives you favored on stealth checks. They don't come up a ton anymore, but they are like definitely still prevalent. And
they're definitely campaign. They're definitely more campaign specific. Where if you're
Yeah.
if an adventure or a campaign you're engaging in includes a ton of includes a ton of stealth checks, then having a Nakara will be a bonus.
Yeah. And then you have and then you have for Tasker, which are basically what they used to be. They still have that organized ability, though it's gotten a little nerfed, so it doesn't give you plus 50% PSU. It only gives you 4, but that's still quite a bit. It gives you an extra item or 2. Dark Vision is their second one now. They gain basically they can basically see in the dark no matter what, and you're immune to blind. They are pretty much the key party member if you are in a dark oriented area.
It's also extremely useful for rangers as well, because blind condition can be one of the major counters to rangers, as it limits your field of vision to 1 meter.
Yeah.
So being immune to the blind condition means that you can avoid that issue.
Yeah. Also, awareness in this case is how far you can see in the dark in meters. So with no awareness, you just can't see in darkness. Whereas if with your character's 2 awareness that you have right there, you can see 2 meters, and then you can see an additional 3, but you can't target in that range. So you can only like vaguely see what's in that area to try to reorient yourself. So having a high awareness is incredibly important, typically. And this is kind of been our goal with Alpha, is to make sure every stat has its usage. That no matter what stat you dump or what stats you use, you'll have some sort of ongoing benefit that you would not have gotten by having less of that. For a Tasker, I'm not sure. Well, they have really good hearing. Being mice, they have really good hearing and are very aware of their senses. So I think I would go with something like that, where they basically can hear their surroundings really well, giving them immunity of blindness. Think Toph.
Good hearing,
Avatar.
good sense of smell. Their other senses can make up for situations where they lack vision.
And then finally, you have the Vulpit. Sort of a foil to the Nakara. You have the Vulpit, which have reactive, which increases their perception the same way Nakara's increase their stealth. And then skittish, which allows you to take the dodge roll action as a reaction at any time. So basically, you can use dodge roll to kind of dodge roll out of melee attacks or dodge roll out away from things, like areas, as long as you use the reaction.
It's another ability that's really good for rangers to avoid people trying to close the gaps and get into melee range with them, because ranged attacks have that unfavored when you are in melee range of a creature. Being able to dodge roll away from creatures whenever they get close enough for that definitely is a huge bonus.
Additionally, now we have haste. Haste is the new version of the old speed stat. It just is a rename. It has a new calculation. It no longer uses mobility, and it's just agility plus 2. An update we did was allow people to add numbers to their speed rolls, like whatever, up to their haste. So like when they're rolling for their initiative at the start of combat, they can this character could add up to 6. So the players can sort of orient themselves, though they still rely on some of that luck. So
yeah. So like let's say let's say our Sentinel character is like a Sentinel party member rolls a 10 on their haste roll, and we roll a 7. We could add the Sentinel because of the Sentinel's build, they want to go after us in initiative. The Sentinel could add 0 to their haste, and then we could add and then our character could add 4, and now we have 11 total haste, while the Sentinel still only has the 10 from their dice roll, and that'll put this character before the Sentinel in the initiative order, allowing for more team play.
So what are we thinking, chat? Lineage-wise, what 2 are we thinking of the abilities listed? Fair enough.
Yep, Rataskier. Do you want to be full Rataskier, or do you want to try and hybridize?
Yep, so just like in pre-alpha, you can combine 2 abilities of 2 different ones. So like you could take half Ratasker, half Vulpit. You could be like a Fox Rat, and I don't know what a Fox Rat looks like, but decide what a Fox Rat looks like.
Yep, Dragon Rat if you wanted to go Draconis. Right, so you can
like just rat with like big fangs and like
also,
imagine the tiny mouth of a rat shooting out like a fireball.
Yeah. Also, something to keep in mind is that the ranger something to keep in mind is that the ranger abilities have been expanded as well, where they work with just about every ranged attack, including things like the Draconis Draco Blast attack, or ranged spell attacks would also gain benefits from ranger levels.
Yeah. We're thinking organized from rat and wings from Draconis. Okay, sure, why not?
That'd be cool. Yep.
I'm gonna try and go to the skills section, see how this looks on stream.
Right.
Might need to do some quick frame adjustments here. It looks like it's doing quite fine, actually. It's not showing the whole sheet, but we could just... And cool. There we go. Much better. So... give me one moment. Forgot to remove this before, So, we're gonna be our Tasker Draconis.
Yep.
And we'll just, place those organized and, winged from there. For being a rat dragon. And we're going to make sure all of these are on Ranger. Cool. Just gonna... Oh. There we go. Cool. Much better. Now on to Ranger. Main class. Actually, before that, forgot we had trade first. Forgot the order of those two.
Yep.
Oops. So, traits. We have 3 traits here. You have Beastmaster, if we want to go like a sort of like, well, animal handling ranger. Like druid kind of idea, like or we could go with the thief ranger. We have the high stealth for it. We have the so we could go for that, and then we could go, or we could go charlatan and make like charlatan. What's this? kind of like a almost white collar criminal, a tax evader, really.
Yeah. So, yep. So the trades are something you'll see are quite different from how they appeared in the pre-alpha, and that we've now actually filled out the trades, and they have different so they have their abilities and effects versus mostly being flavor in the pre-alpha. So, the way trades work in this game is that trades generally have functions that you interact with outside of combat. Some of which might give direct benefits in combat. Others focus more on the role play side of it, giving generalized benefits.
Yep. And so kind of what you see here is how trades are going to work in Alpha, where you have Smuggler's Brooch, Disguise Kit, and False Ledger. Those are your tools, and these are like magical items your character will always have access to from the start that give you these abilities that you'll need for whatever you're doing. So for a charlatan, Smuggler's Brooch allows you to basically transform one item into another. Think Jorno from Golden Wind almost, but it's like object to object instead of object to animal. And then you have Bundle Brooch, which is your tier 2 abilities. Once you reach tier 2, your Smuggler's Brooch gets an upgrade so that it can turn multiple items into one of the same, basically, volume overall. So I think chat's going with tax evasion, right? I think that's what that meant, right? You could
yeah.
I think they could correct me, but I think tax evasion was...
Yes, tax evasion. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, I can blame them, but I'm not going to. Cool. We do not condone tax evasion.
Yeah.
That is a crime. So let's go into the Ranger class. So here's what the new skill tree page. That is an error. I'll have to fix that. This is what the class will look like coming in Alpha. As you can see, the skill trees are a bit easier to read. Hopefully all the text is easier to read, given the formatting that we had in pre-alpha. So Ranger has these 3 paths left to right here. So this top path it has is all based on a headshot, which is almost like a critical hit system. It's the only class with these like crits that it does. And then you have that middle path, which is marks, which you can place on things to increase your ability to hit that. Or on the bottom path there, you have the alignment style path, where basically you can re-roll some of your to hit in order to, align,
Another thing you'll notice that changed from pre-alpha to now is that to go with us cutting the intended max level in half, all of our classes got consolidated a lot more. So now the main classes will only have 10 skills in each of them, and each subclass will have 5 skills available. So you still reach max level by taking all the skills of a main class plus all the skills of one subclass. But now the subclasses have something better to differentiate them from the main class in that they are smaller than a main class tree.
Yep. Additionally, just the overall look of the trees is different. Also, at the top there, you'll see the stars. That's the class's difficulty. Ranger is the easiest class in the game and thus has a difficulty of 1. Whereas the Kismet class that we teased way back about, probably, was it almost a year ago now, right?
I want to say we're at least a year at this point.
Yeah, well, we did a stream developing it. So yeah, we had the Kismet class that we developed a while ago, and then we have the this, and that's a 5-star because of all the new mechanics it introduces.
Yeah.
And so we'll go into the actual skills itself. You have the first path here, which you can see now we have this arrow notation, so you can read without going back and forth. Something people asked for a lot in pre-alpha was the ability to have the skills labeled with their numbers, and so the skill in red is the current number, and you can see where it would go to. So 1 to 2, 1's optional, so it has this little dot on the left. It goes to 2, and then 3 requires 1. And the reason that that's optional is because maybe you just want to take the higher crit rate before you take the crit damage.
Yeah.
Give people options. We really removed a lot of those, like, oh, I have to take this first options. Like, a lot of pre-alpha was large gaps of empty space where you were just taking levels to get to one skill you wanted. And so we're basically trying to make it so as many as is balanced are optional in order to reduce the amount of waiting levels people have to do.
Yeah. It means that every time you it makes it more likely that every time you level up, what you're grabbing for that level is something you actually want versus something that you're forced, something that you feel like you're wasting your level on just because it's required to get something you want instead.
I think for class, we should probably, since we don't have too many people in chat right now, just run it as random, unless Nick wants to run through every level here. We could just quickly run through as random, or run through, like, have Nick pick a path, or have if anyone else wants this here.
Yeah. So yeah, Nick, which path do you want? Maybe we'll start with that. Which path do you want to do first, at least? Like your main path. Do you want to do top path? Crit.
Cool. Looks like we're going crit. We could probably go fully into the top path, and then, did you want to go middle or bottom path then? Middle path, you'd only get either way, you only get 2 of the 3 skills if you go fully into top path. Middle path, if you went middle path, you would basically be going more into what you already did. Well, no, in middle path, you'd get, like, the marks, and you would get a second one of those marks. Whereas on the bottom path, you would go for realign, and then you would get a higher crit chance upon realigning. So it would kind of buff what you did with your top path if you went bottom. Whereas with middle, you just get a higher accuracy overall.
Yeah. Middle path gives you Ranger's Mark, which gives you better general accuracy, versus bottom path, which super buffs your crits.
Okay, looks like we're going for overall accuracy here. Middle path. Okay. Cool. I'll be Ranger's Mark, Extra Mark. I make Extra Mark optional so you can take aim assist first. That'd be a good call.
Good idea, yeah. Yeah.
Again, it's one of those waiting level things that we could just remove here. So we'll do that. Ranger's Mark and aim assist, and I'll put a note in to make a Extra Mark optional. Yeah. Cool. And that leads us to the last bit of character creation before we basically do last bit of QA and end stream. For your character, you're probably not going to choose your armor because you can really only take one. Ultralight is the part where you need at least 1 strength. because ultralight's kind of the worst armor, so to speak. Oh, 1 second.
Yep. All right. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. No. So armor weight does not affect flying. Overall, it's just kind of what armor you have the strength for. So for you, you can only take ultralight or light armor because they are strength requirement 1 and strength requirement 0 respectively. You would need a higher strength, which if we go back to the main sheet and expand, you have a strength of 1. All right, light armor it is. Yeah, because ultralight has a overall value of 5, whereas ultralight has an overall value of 4, where light has an overall value of 5. Like medium and heavy have an overall value of 5. And so mathematically, ultralight is just about 20% worse than the other ones as a kind of downside to having a 0 in strength. All right. Bows and firearms. So this will be your primary weapon as the last step. You have crossbows, which allow you to basically load it and then use it later. Short bow as a free action. Short bows, which is basically all based off being on a horseback or mounted. Long bows, which are a ranged weapon that uses strength instead of agility, potentially, though their range is reduced. And then you have firearms, where you have blunderbuss, which is kind of this like spread and AoE weapon. Ranged weapon, you have revolver, which allows the user to take attacks of opportunity when someone goes in or out of 2 meters of them. And flintlock, which allows you to fire and have like a wall of smoke pop up, though you need to reload every time you take an attack. Makes sense. Give the flying rider a revolver. And this is actually where you get to see kind of a nerf, a weird interaction of nerf that can happen with flying. So flying decreases the range you can target non-flying and flying things by 1. So like if you have a 1 meter melee attack, you can't target something that's flying, but anything 2 meters and above can. And something that's flying, additionally, in the same way, can't use a 1 meter melee attack on something on the ground. So that's kind of the way we balance flying, is by giving both sides the nerf that applies both ways, right? It decreases your range both ways. So for revolver, that would mean they'd have to get within 1 meter of you. It's still good, definitely really good, though it's just something you kind of have to keep in mind. And that is the end of character creation. I hope you all... Yeah, that's so fair. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. Is there any more questions about Alpha before we end stream here? Maybe read out. That's the luck points. That's the thing we described that you use favored on. So like, if you were to say make an attack on an enemy and want to give that favored, you could drop this down to 3, and now you have an extra d6 to that attack roll.
Or perhaps if somebody's trying to attack you and you want to make sure you don't get hit from that, you can spend some luck points to give yourself favored on the evasion check.
Yep.
To avoid damage.
Yep. Let's just quickly put in the evasion defense here. So for light, you have 2 per tier defense or 4 defense, and 2 per tier plus 3 evasion, or 7 evasion. Well, we're just over the 1 hour mark, so I think that is where we'll end stream, unless anybody else has a burning question they've been saving for stream. Like I said in the everyone ping, if you are curious as to when Alpha's coming or timeline of that, we're hoping by the end of the year. We're not going to make any guarantees right now, since we want to make sure Alpha, after all this time, is perfect, or as perfect as it can be, but we're hoping to start closed Alpha by the end of the year, where we'll be sending out a ping where people can sign up for that if they are interested. And then starting sometime March, April next year, we're probably going to be in Alpha stage, public, and doing a lot of stuff with content creators, and you'll probably see new faces around the Discord.
Yep.
We also plan on streaming more here, maybe doing some monster development. I think that will be a really fun way to kind of interact with our community. That's because I forgot to apply flying. That's why.
Yep.
Yeah. I forgot to, I just missed that, yeah. But yeah, the rest of those are just, you don't have climbing or swimming. I guess another fun part of how we balanced flying was adding a tall modifier to the game, and large and above creatures, or tall medium creatures, don't get the downsides of flying. So if you're, while they're grounded, so like if you're a large creature, you don't have any range decrease to the creatures in the air. Well,
yeah, flying is more of a light hover above is more of a hover about 3 meters above the ground, more so than just
a large flying creature would still get the debuff. It's because it's while not flying that they don't get the debuff. So a large flying creature would still get it.
Yeah.
So they also don't have to worry about certain things like ground hazards. So it's all a trade-off. Flying has become sort of a trade-off game more than it is a straight benefit, like something like swimming or climbing is.
It also means that climbing actually has a. It also means that in our system, climbing actually has a use even though flying exists, because climbing lets you avoid some of those debuffs you'd get from being a flying creature.
Also, there's like tall flying things can't go over tall objects. So like if a wall was tall, a flying creature can't go over that wall. At least not in combat, so while climbing could climb over it.
Yep.
Well, I think I'm gonna write out here, see who's around, if any of the Warforger people are online right now. If not, No, it doesn't look like it. I think I'm just gonna end there then. Well, I hope everybody had a good stream. Yeah, and we'll see you around the Discord. You can always ask us more questions there. Have a good one.
Yeah.